Okay, so we're going to move on to adding colour to this drawing. So I have made a start here. First, before I show any more, I just want to talk to you about colour pencils. I fully appreciate you can only use what you've got in your house. I've had to have a rummage around my house and this is what I could find. So please don't worry if you've got a bit of a motley selection of colours. So have I. So you've just got to make the best of what you've got. To be honest, as long as you've got yellow, red and blue and black, you can make all the secondary colours yourself. So even if you can only find those, you can still do the work. I've managed to find an orange and a green as well. I haven't got a purple, but I've managed to find a brown, which is quite useful. So just use what you can find and do the best you can with what you've got. So I've started just putting in the basic colours here. I've just put in flat colours. You'll notice I haven't pressed very hard. Quite often when we're doing colour work, you say to me, oh, my hand hurts after about 5 minutes. It's because you tend to press really, really hard when you colour. So, for example, if you look at the black part here, when I colour quite lightly like this. I notice a lot of you are doing this, which is why your hands are starting to hurt really quickly. You don't need that depth of colour. Just colour lightly and then your hand won't hurt so much when you're doing quite a sustained piece like this. So you can see I've started to put in block colours. I'm now going to start working into that and developing it. So if I'm going to have a look at this orange, I think we're going to decide that it is here. I'm going to start off with a yellow base on there. See, when I colour I tend to go in more than one direction and layer it up, then I get a nice smooth even finish on my colour. Because what we're drawing is painting, actually the colours aren't flat, so we're not desperate to get them flatly rendered. It's quite nice to see a bit of texture in them. Right, so that's a bit bright. If I put a little bit of red over that, I should be able to knock it back to orange. Oh, see, that one's dodgy, it's broken. So I've got a different one. Let's try this one. There we go, that's a bit better. So I've got it's slightly oranger tint now. And then onto there, it's got these green sections here. So I'm going to use those on top, put in those green parts. So that's that done. It has got this darker line around it. We drew that in pencil, but you could go and make that line thicker and darker with your black. Gives it a bit more definition. So it's sort of an outline, but in paint. So just do that pencil like that. Okay, so that's that bit done. This shadow in here is really dark. You see there's a brown piece of table here. I've put that brown bit of table in already because that paint is overlapping onto the brown there. When I put this black on, I can apply it to give that same impression. So the black is just overlapping the brown lightly to give that impression. So this is a flat shadow. Just block that in. So where I'm going nice and lightly, it's quite easy to get a smooth finish to my pencil. It's because I'm not going too heavily. Right, on this jug you can see I started to put in this darker tone here. I now need to put in the red, and again the two are going to overlap slightly, so I'll put that red in around here, around to the edge, red in here. And then if I press lighter as I come across, then we'll get that impression of the two colours mixing. And I can go back over with my black just to blend those in. So it's using a bit of one colour, then going back in with another, then going back in with another, so you're gradually blending those colours up. I'm going to do the same on here. I've already put in that red lid, but I'm going to put in that edge there. Start making this a bit darker now. I'm going to make these lines a bit thicker. Actually colour the lines in now. seeing that edge of that line there, here. So these bits are kind of a peachy colour, so I might just have to find my orange and go in really lightly to achieve that. If I had a white colour pencil I could blend them, but I haven't, so I should just have to make do with what I've got. So we've got this part in here is still red, we've got the red handle, up to about there. Right, so that's kind of a peachy colour actually. So if I go in with a yellow really lightly first, and then I go in with an orange over that, I will create an impression of a peach tone. And then in here, a bit more black coming up there. Put that bit grayer in there. Go. Okay, so that's fine for that. Now, looking at this background section, this part is really dark, so I can block that in a bit more heavily. And then I would start using my green to put in the green on this glass. I love the way on this glass, you know it's a glass, even though it doesn't really look like a glass because of the way the light's reflecting off it. I think that's really clever. So even though it's cubist and it's abstracted, we can still see that it's a glass. And this shade of green behind it appears to me like the light shining through it and reflecting on the wall. So I've got some green in the wall here and it's coming in from the side, so I'm going to put it in from the side like that. You can move your paper around to do this, it's much easier. I can't move my paper around because I've taped it to the table so it doesn't move under the camera, but it'd be much easier to turn your paper to get this angle. Right, and then on this table we've got some of this black tone here over the brown and that line. So I can go in, put that in, dial that back a bit, make that line a bit thicker. So I'm just going in now, looking at those thicker lines, making them a bit bolder with my black colour pencil, adding a bit of structure to the drawing, get that tabletop in. Make that a little bit darker there just so it sits flat because it's a shadow. If I shade right to left, things will sit flat horizontally. A bit smack slightly. Green in there. There we go. So, colour copy using colour pencils of Picasso Still Life.